All right. So we are back live on the weekend, but most of you guys must be thinking that why we are live on weekends, but we are trading today the Bitcoin, the BTC USD. Let's see how that goes, and let's do the top to bottom analysis for that. All right. Now, what I think is once this is gonna be a 20 to 30-minute live stream just for the Bitcoin analysis. Let's see if we can just find the trade and be able to get into it or not. So basically, if you guys see on the weekly time frame, we are at the bearish trend. We have started the bearish trend and started making like the lower highs and lower lows instead of higher highs and higher lows. So basically what I think for now is, we should for the long terms be thinking of shorting the Bitcoin, but Bitcoin can, you know move to in a very, very bearish position for now. Yeah, it can come easily it can come to, the 50,000, the 40, 30,000, and then can just, it can just, it won't even look back and keep growing up. Let's see on the 1 hour time frame. On 1 hour, while we are looking at it in the lower time frame, that we are on the bullish. On the bullish side, yeah, we are on the bullish side, but what we need is a serious breakout. Price is just stuck, and we could have a very good trade at this point. You see, at this point we could have a very good trade, but without any confirmation the price have just moved. Let's take a look at the 15-minute time frame, which makes sense for buying the Bitcoin, where we could have a very good buy once, it's an impulse entry. Basically, we could have an impulse entry once we break above these highs. We would be in profit of, let's say, the 50 pips. That's 50, 60 pips. Could aim for like, yeah, the 180 pips, that's 18 pips, that's it we could aim for. But drastically, what happened, this is a weekend, first of all, keep in mind, we won't force it because the volume is not there in the markets. All right. And while we are looking at is, on 30 minute, it makes sense to bought, we could have a buy after it broke above the previous 30-minute candle, the low bearish momentum candle, which we say it's high, and continue pushing up. We could have a buy here, and being securing like the 60 70 pips only, and would aiming for 160 pips. That's it on the Bitcoin. We are just waiting for, all right, waiting for the breakout above this area. Once we break above this area, the 80,400, 8068. So once price just moved like and broke above this level, there's a very high chances for the Bitcoin to continue pushing up, because to these candles moved with high volume without making any wick upside, it has to correct it because the price moved that way. Basically, let's say if we can break above the 80,468, then definitely it would keep continue pushing up and correct this whole move. From the left hand side, we have the clean range basically, and we could go for and aim for 81 173. That's it. And on the 1 hour time frame, as we see the same thing, we are having that the clean range and some instability for the price. Approx, we could aim for, let's say, that's amazing, 600 700 pips. That could be a swing trade, but there's no volume. All right, the price as up right now is breaking its with good volume since yesterday, the day before yesterday, the whole week. The price just kept moving that way. But maybe the next week would be something that we can assume for the price to continue pushing up and correct this whole move upside. Let's see how that goes as well. But let's take a look on the gold, what we think on what we think of the gold, which really makes sense for uh, waiting. Now let me come up to it. Give me a minute. Alright, so I had an important message to look up to. Let's continue pushing up with our price analysis. Basically, let's take a fundamental side of the gold here, which we think that the U.S. Central Command said that Thursday on the U.S. forces targeted the Iranian military facilities and responsible for the launching attacks against the warship crossing through the strategic waterway easily. Iran accused the USA violating the ceasefire and the struggle. Yeah, these things are continue going on between the Iran and the USA. On the Strait of Hormuz, there's a lot of things are going on right now. So yet the ceasefire isn't happened. So what means that the US president stated the ceasefire and Iran is still in the place and added some more. The obvious ceasefire was over, and moreover, the US military stated the US forces are not seek escalation, undermining the USD's reserve currency status and supporting the gold prices, which is very good for the gold to continue pushing up, and investors might turn their money. Because see what happened previously was dramatically fortunate for the US oil. How the investors was investing into the gold, while they have seen the disasters are coming in and kicking into the market, basically moving the US oil prices further up, like it's like in the US $4 the per barrel. And right now, okay, so for now, like let's you know what, let's take a look at the US oil. Okay, so let's take a look at the US oil, the crude oil, which we say. If you guys remember, and you're following me since like so long in the Telegram channel, you would know that I was in buys, and supposedly that went through, and we have secured some good money on that trade. And the trade was from the 62, when it was like 62. Yeah, from here we just took a buy. All right, from here we took a buy once before even the war started and the Strait of Hormuz before it closes. We were in buy of yeah, somewhere around here. We were on buys and closed that trade once the price hit it, like somewhere on the partial sit 100. At this point the oil is struggling. All right, at this point oil is struggling because the conflicts between the United Arab Emirates and between the USA and Iran, Israel, that thing is continue going on, and that war is unpredictable. See how, because once they attack on the let's say the oil prices to strike up, and what happened then, the gold prices fallen down at the 4500, 4400, somewhere around here. So the investors were very confused once they announced the ceasefire. And then investors took their money from the US oil and put it into the gold back again. That was this move you see here. So this move was all about this thing. Once they have announced the ceasefire, the oil prices dropped drastically, and we had 3,000 points, it just dropped down. And once again Iran, the delegation came to the Pakistan, and then they started the negotiation, didn't go well. And what happened back is, once the negotiations were not good, and the same thing happened to same thing happened, back again. The oil prices continue pushing up, and they have control here. All right, 108 108 per barrel. This is the control here. The prices are not going up, because that's very bad for the economy all over the world, because the 20% of the world oil supply came through the Strait of Hormuz, right? So this is why why I'm telling you, the oil analysis, not the gold analysis, because these two are the correlated pairs, the instruments right now, and these two are really really hot. The put up view on the instruments right now. Why? You see the investors volume from London, and why? And this is how you can just calculate your own trades by selecting the right session, right time to take a trade for the swing and also for the scalping, right? For now, these two pairs, the gold and the US oil, is being correlated together. So let's say the gold prices, if that fallen down, which I don't really think so, because we have seen on the weekly time frame, it's just consolidating right now. It's not falling, it's not going up, it's just consolidating right now. All right, just consolidating, nothing else. For now we cannot say anything about the the US oil, the VTI, and the crude oil, whatever you call it. So this is just called a rate, sorry, the consolidation. While on the gold, you see the same pattern, right? But the different thing is, the weekly closed with a very good and engulfing support, and which I like. And next weekly can break the high and continue pushing up. Cannot see this rejection area because due to the volume, it might continue pushing up, and it might hit again the level of 5,000 at the 340 somewhere around here, and then you know can reject, and it won't fill that wick until a very good crisis comes in, until a very good the ceasefire thing kicks in, and some other crisis might be. So it won't fill that wick and won't break that high all-time high again until something happens, right? Keep that in mind. So 5,000, uh let me just be exact. 5,600, that was the level, that was the all-time high for the gold right now, and that won't be broken up until a good crisis kicks in, and or we see the ceasefire between the Israel, Iran, and the USA. Once that happens, so that could be a very major reason for the gold to continue pushing up, while investor think it's a safe haven, right? And they can put their money from the gold, take their money from the gold and put it back to the gold. This is what we are looking for. All right. So let's take a look on the US dollar, which is getting weaker day by day. The US dollar is getting weaker. Yeah, you heard me right. So, all right, let's do the fresh analysis here. Okay, so on the US, the dollar index is really drastically falling. Why? Because you see the dollar value is getting weaker. Now, due to the oil, understand this thing, because this is a very important thing once you're trading the forex, right? So understand this thing very carefully. You see the Strait of Hormuz, the 20% economy of the whole world, okay, the whole earth, it depending on that Strait of Hormuz. Why? They pass the oil through it. You need oil to run the factories, you need oil to run the jets, you need oil to run the vehicles. Everything runs on that energy, right? So China, you see, China is buying oil from uh the Iran, okay, throughout some other ways, some other hidden through ways, maybe the tunnels, maybe, I don't know, some other sea ways they have. I don't want to talk it economically here, I just want to be precise with the topic only. So the China is buying the oil from the Iran, okay, and so do the Russia. All right, so these two countries are buying oil from the Russia, sorry, Iran. They are buying not through the dollars, okay, they are not really buying the oil. They don't value the dollar right now, even though the NATO created its own currency. The India, Russia, China, some other countries, like, together they have created own currency to trade with. In future that might be legitimate, but for now, you see, the current situation is a war situation, and that's a very dramatically for the financial markets right now. And once China buys the oil from the Iran, so do the Russia, they don't buy it through the dollar, okay, the price of the dollar. They buy it through the price of the Chinese yen. Okay, they are making the Chinese yen great again. So once that happens, the dollar will definitely lose its value. And keep that in mind, that dollar is it's just losing its value for now. And these whole weeks through it, it's just ranging. Okay, so it's just ranging for now. And once the dollar index keeps falling down, you know what? The gold will continue pushing up. Okay, the gold will continue pushing up. You see, that trend is massive. That trend is massive. And who knows, it might be China and Russia might be buying the oil through the gold, the prices of the gold, right? So that might move the price further more up, which I was talking about the fill this week. The all-time high could be broken up. Who knows that? Depends on the next week. Now, if the next week candle, let me do the swing trade analysis for you guys first. Okay, which is, I believe, if we want range, because it's just creating, it looks like to me it might create a range again, and then break out harder. But for now, let's assume that what's going to be exactly happening next week. For me, it looks like, the next week candle might wick down and break its high of the previous candle, and then might continue pushing up to taste this high, which is like amazing, 12,000 pips. That's huge move. Don't consider it just a the regular move. And same thing on the daily. You see, this is the pattern I'm just talking about. Like this, it could repeat because market repeats itself all the time. So you see, whatever you see on the smaller time frame might happen on the same thing on the higher time frame as well. So on the daily and weekly did the same thing. All right, so same pattern. Made a support, came back down, made a support, and the next candle started breaking the high of the previous candle and continue pushing up without caring about this rejection on the 4631.30. This was a rejection, but the gold didn't care about because of the volume. You know now that what I was talking about, right? So same thing could happen on the gold. What we can see is, we can just wick down and then pushing up because this is the support. It just broke below. uh Now this candle is a very valid support. How we just broke below all the way throughout the previous candle's low at the 4500. Okay, so and just came back up, rejected all the way up, break the high of the previous candle and closed a strong bullish candle, which indicates that the next candle, have a very good, might have a very good high volume to continue pushing up. If we see something like, the rumors about the ceasefire and some other stuff going on economically, so geopolitical issues can kick up anytime. So basically you have to be, very careful about it. So if on any chances that we rejected this level next week, then we will definitely be consolidating between this area and on this area. Okay, keep that in mind. So these three areas are the key levels. All right, on the weekly basis. Now these three levels are very key levels for the weekly, and that will depend on the smaller time frame like 30. Okay, like 1 hour you trade whatever, you can just swing between these areas depending on the situation, how the candle opens, how the news is and the rumors goes on. All right, so you have to be careful about that, and I will keep updating you guys on my the trading channel, the Trade Like Ali, and we will be very active on that. So I would suggest join that, and as well as be active on the channel so you can just get some good information about how things go on the financial markets. Okay, so we have marked these levels. Let's say if we can trade between them, or can continue pushing up no matter what, break that high from the 4890 and continue pushing up till here. That is what I was looking for with volume, if happens. All right, that's 5000. You consider it, and it might continue pushing up here. Okay, done with the gold analysis. Let's take a look on the BTC USD, BTC USD. So yeah, it's just rejecting. This is a downtrend for now. Okay. We haven't broke above yet, but it might. So for trade, for you guys trade, because I'm heading off in just 2-3 minutes now. It's been just an analysis stream. Okay, so don't be. All right. If we break above this area, the 80,500 somewhere, so we can bet on that the price can continue pushing up till the 450 pips somewhere, because we have a clean range from the left hand side, not targeting all the way up, because it will create a wick here of this candle. Most definitely you will see it, that's my word. Okay, but it will create a wick, but I don't like the volume at the weekend. Once you're trading it, let's say we can continue pushing up throughout the next week, or today or tomorrow it can happen. So let's take a be active on the Bitcoin as well. I will keep you guys updated, and we had a good time together on the channel, so be active, I again saying. Alright guys, so I'm gonna be heading off today, and wish you all the best. Enjoy your weekends, don't trade a lot. And the same thing happened right now, it just closed with the 0 wick. Now see the volume, the jumping up upside. Let's see how that goes. I will take a look on that. Anyways, have a good time with you and your family on this weekend, and see you guys on the Monday again. Bye bye.